Yay. Okay.
Nice.
Apparently we're good. Why did I go to controls? I don't need to go to controls. So, yeah. Let me invite Stephen again. And Jay, do you want to describe Pocket Rumble?
Yeah, so Pocket Rumble is a game yeah, it's kind of like a classic Street Fighter side-on fighting game, but it's kind of like really simplified, basic, really easy to get into the mechanics. It's kind of stripped down. There's a lot of kind of tutorial stuff. Shows things like live frame data. Health is kind of each hit does.
It's a single hit, yeah.
Single hit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this game is super interesting for people that play fighting games. Obviously, fighting games have a huge barrier to entry, and trying to figure out, trying to really get into a fighting game is a big task. And what the guys at Cardboard Robot Games are trying to do right now. Apparently, you're too quiet.
I'll just speak very loud.
Yeah, you do that. That works.
Speak very loud.
What the guys at Cardboard Robot Games are trying to do is make a fighting game that's really accessible. So they've done that in a number of ways, and it's working really well. The first thing, as Jay said, the health is super simplified. Usually in fighting games, every move you need to learn how much damage they do, that kind of thing. In Pocket Rumble, every hit you do will take away 1 pip of health. No matter what that hit is, and combos, for example, they just do multiple hits. So unlike a fighting game where you learn a combo and that does a certain amount of damage, you just need to know how many hits that combo is going to do. Then you've got things like under the health bar, there's basically that's visual frame data. So you can see how when the attack is active, you can see how long it takes to recover, which is really helpful if you're trying to learn combos or learn how to play the game, essentially. And then this entire game is basically played with just 2 buttons. You have like a light attack and a hard attack. Super moves, rather than complex, fighting game motions, quarter circles, half circles, or whatever. You just hold a diagonal direction and hold a button, and you get a super move. So, for example, the fireball is down, forwards, and light attack. So anyone can do that. It's super simple. And this reversal attack is down, back, and hard attack. Which seems to be working quite well now on Steven. Then you've got very, very interesting characters. You've got every character in this game has traits that you would usually find as like the main mechanic in the different fighting games. So Tenchi, the guy I'm playing right now, he's kind of like your super basic straightforwards. He builds a super meter by doing attacks, and then when he has a full super meter, he can do a super move, and that's activated. Again, it's super simple. That's activated by doing down forwards like the regular fireball, but pushing both attack buttons, and you get his super fireball, which I'm going to try and hit Steven with if I can bait him into jumping into it. Jump, Steven. Go on. Jump. I think you can hear me saying jump from across the room. So this doesn't really work very well.
Might have headphones.
Oh, wait. Oh. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Nice.
And so that's Tenchi. And then the character Naomi that Steven's playing right now. Naomi builds meter in an entirely different way. So she has a special move that buffs her meter up, and then rather than the super move, she does the equivalent of EX moves in Street Fighter, which means she can turn any of her regular moves, like that special punch she's doing there, into an EX version of the move. And that's kind of her thing. She can also run and do light pops like the King of Fighters games. So mechanically she's very different from Tenchi, but she's still incredibly simple to play, which is really interesting about this game. And then right now in the early access version of this game, you've got one more character, and we'll show him in a second. He's super interesting. He's kind of a mixture between Street Fighter's Abel and a kind of a trap character. I'm playing really badly. I'm just kind of running away and zoning Steven out whilst I'm talking.
One thing I really like about this game is that the art style is something. It's very referential. I'm not sure if a lot of people will catch on because it might be kind of before people's time, but it's kind of like the whole game is very visually referential to like the kind of Neo Geo fighting games, right? The characters like simplified palettes and these detailed kind of colourful backgrounds. It's very kind of
I mean, it's
right?
Pocket Rumble, right?
Yeah,
it's definitely referencing the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
which had a bunch of fighting games on it in this style. There was Street Fighter game, well, Marvel versus, no, sorry, what am I talking about? SNK versus
Capcom, right?
Street Fighter, Capcom. Was it Capcom? Yeah, I guess it was Capcom because you had the Metal Slug backgrounds in there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, which isn't Capcom, but it means it's a wide. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate on the game, making no sense. So you had SNK versus Capcom. You had various Samurai Shodown games. You had Fatal Fury games, and they all kind of look like this. So it's a big reference to that, and they all look great at the time. And I'm glad someone.
They still look pretty good.
Bringing them back.
They're really kind of appealing art, and really
yeah, absolutely. And the sort of high detail backgrounds with the super lo-fi sprites works really well.
Someone's saying so there's no ridiculous combos that you have to memorize like Dead or Alive.
Yeah, no,
basically the opposite,
absolutely.
right?
Like, I think the maximum number of hits I've managed to get in a combo so far, I'm sure you can probably go one above or something, because I'm still picking up the game, but the maximum number of hits I've managed to get is 5, which is like a hugely damaging combo, because 5 hits is a massive portion of the health bar,
right,
because every hit takes a pip away from the health bar.
It's very much kind of focus on those mind games and knowing like the technique and when to attack rather than having memorized large series of inputs.
But all that said, you know, I'm a bit of a fighting game enthusiast, so I know sort of technical ins and outs of fighting games. All of that is still here, so you can still frame trap, you can still zone people, you still need to know you know, which moves have frame advantage, which moves you can combo in and out of. The thing is, it makes learning all of that super easy. You've only, like I say, you've only got those 2 buttons, but then on top of that, all of the frame data for the moves is displayed on screen at the time, including your opponent's moves, which is really interesting because you can actually visually see, oh hey, my opponent is still in recovery, I can punish this move, which is great. I was wondering what the guy in chat was talking about. He said video want loaf and
Load.
yeah, right, yeah. So this kind of has all the complexity of a you know, any modern fighting game, without the sort of, I don't know, there's kind of a faux complexity in modern fighting games where they give you lots of buttons and lots of complex combos to learn, but that isn't actually the game, right? And I know fighting games are moving towards becoming simpler. Even, you know, Street Fighter 5, which came out recently, Killer Instinct, they're simpler than older fighting games. But even so, they're still, the barrier to entry is still there, and it's still huge. I almost trapped Steven again.
Someone's asking, why does Tenchi grow energy moose antlers? That's a good question.
I don't really, this game's still heavily in development. I don't really know the backstories of the characters yet, but energy moves is pretty unique.
Yeah, I can't complain.
Okay, I'm 2 down. You need to talk, Joe, because I'm 2 down on this fight with Steven, and I refuse to lose.
So I'm right in saying that since it's early access, the developers have been kind of updating it with new characters over time.
Every month, in fact. There's a new character every month, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, fighting games do thrive on their content. There's no denying that. But a month for each character kind of gives you time to learn a character, and then by the next month, you know, you've got someone new to play.
It's like everything's changing as you're playing through,
yeah. Yeah, and it's worth mentioning the online with this game. It's really cool because, well, first off, it has really good Steam integration, so you can just invite someone from your friends list. It loads super fast. You can get into a game with someone super fast. So if you just want a game where you can just, you know, oh, I just want to challenge someone to a competitive game, this is great for that. But also, it has GGPO support, which, if people unfamiliar with fighting games don't know GPO, it's the best net play around for fighting games. It's rollback based, which means rather than having input delay on your attacks, which then screws up your combos and your timing and reacting to people, it has a very complex method of rolling back to a previous state of the game, so that there's virtually no input delay. And as long as you're playing with someone who's got a relatively decent ping to you, and by relatively decent I mean like in the 200s, even the 300s at times, you just have no lag whatsoever. It's great, it's amazing. And I wish more games would make use of it, honestly. I know that Street Fighter 5 has implemented its own method of netplay, rollback netplay, but it's nowhere near as good as just straight up GPO, to be honest.
So, this game was kickstarted, right?
Yes.
It succeeded funding, and it's been kind of in development since then. I think there's a bunch of cameos as well.
Yeah,
some cool stuff there, right?
So when it's finished, it's going to have a full arcade mode, and there are a bunch of cameos from other games that you're going to find in there.
Wait, we've got the list here.
Go on, Jay, go down the list.
Molly's providing us the list. Yeah, there's going to be characters from Dive Kick, Nidhogg, I Want to Be the Guy, you know that?
Oh god, yeah, I do know that.
We have Candyman from Lethal League, who's the guy with the big head.
Yeah,
he's
the
great.
guy with the smiley face.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's great.
Lethal League is the it's kind of like a fighting game. It's on Steam, and
It's a great party game.
yeah. So it's 4 players, and you have a baseball bat, and you have to try and hit a ball into each other, which doesn't sound as interesting as it is. But it's really hectic.
Yeah.
There's a few more though, right?
Yeah, there's characters from Dust in Elysian Trail.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I know that one. Ace's Wild. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And it's kind of cool seeing these characters from the kind of like indie titles kind of interpreted in this kind of Neo Geo retro
and how they would fight
like
and
pocket.
everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so those are, you won't be able to play as those characters, unfortunately, though, as far as I know. It's they're like boss characters in the arcade mode, but that's still, it's really cool to have all those bosses in there. And then the characters in the game itself, there's a whole bunch of those, and like I say, they're being pushed out once a month, and they're all super unique, super different. Actually, I'm gonna, once this fight is over, I'll go to the character select screen. Only 3 are selectable right now, but you can still see their portraits on the character select screen, which is great.
There's like a cowboy guy, really interesting. I think it has like all the kind of like the classic archetypes, like fighting games can have there's kind of like a main warrior guy with the fireballs, creepy zombie guy, I think.
Well, she's a floats, right? She's the floating girl.
Oh, there's a floating guy. There's a zombie guy. There's like an
Yeah.
experiment guy.
I think
right?
that one's he's a throwback to Arichi Yori, which is a King of the Fighters character, and he goes insane with like this bloodlust type thing.
Sounds about right.
So that's this guy. Yeah,
He's
look
cool.
at him. He's
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
like this fight.
So there's Parker. He's like an investigator. And look at the way the writing comes up on screen. It's really cool.
Oh, they have little labels
yeah,
each,
it's
right?
typed because it's a noir thing.
Yeah. This game has a lot of really nice attention to detail. Like,
yeah,
even
it does,
the way the
absolutely.
menus kind of
Oh
act.
damn! I got time ran out, and I don't know his moves.
We can figure this out, right?
Okay, yeah, we'll figure it out. So he can launch these orb things, and then where he launches 2 of them, he can connect them together in sort of a lightning attack, which is really cool because you can leave one on one side of the screen, roll through someone, and then I threw one up by mistake. But he's also got that overhead. I believe that's an overhead. Yeah, it looks like it. There we go.
Oh, nice.
So he can actually do some pretty interesting and big combos by setting up those orbs, which I am not experienced enough to do right now. But there are going to be a bunch of Pocket Rumble streams going on this week, next week, and what's the schedule on that, Molly?
Over the weekend.
Over the weekend? Okay.
Pocket Rumble is going to be at East. In New
You might
York.
need to speak up a bit, or come
Okay,
closer.
I'm trying.
We'll wheel you in.
Being wheeled in. So Pocket Rumble is going to be at Indicate East in New York this weekend. And on Saturday around like 3:30 p.m. EST, they've got a time slot at the esports showcase there. So there'll be a stream there. So that's something to watch as well.
So they're playing that on stream?
Yep.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, Parker also has a parry, which is sort of like a Street Fighter 3 thing, where you can parry people's attacks. I just did it there. So we can do it again. Oh no, not possible.
Almost.
So he builds up these, his meter builds up parries, and then parries are super strong. So if someone's attacking, you can parry their attack and counter attack.
This little animation.
Yeah, the
It's
animation's great. I like the screen. Is that like some equation? Not screen. Sorry, the chalkboard in the background. Is some equation
And then there's
equals bats?
I'm sure there's logic behind it.
Ah, see, Stephen laid up there. That was cool.
That was pretty good, yeah. Oh, now he's gone back.
I'm really bad with this character. This is the most recently introduced character. Well, I've got
He's very X-Files.
His dash is really interesting. So where Naomi can run and essentially has a a regular Tenchi, sorry, has a really regular sort of dash forwards. Parker rolls through you, so he can, if he dashes at you whilst he's next to you, he'll go over the other side, which makes you reverse your block direction. How many viewers do we have right now?
I can't tell.
3. Okay. Wow. Yeah, so the people looking forward to some Starbound, we'll do some Starbound stuff afterwards. Got some stuff to show off, stuff James to show off.
We've got a lot of things to show off. Not everything we should show off, but, you know.
Yeah, we've been working a lot on the story, so it's we're trying to figure out what we can show off without spoiling too much.
I know Alex tweeted some of his in progress.
I should switch to the full game screen.
Yeah, sure. Alex was talking about. He tweeted some gifs of his staves.
Right.
I can maybe show off some staves. There's some cool stuff. They're a bit early, but you know, looking cool already. I'm excited.
Maybe show off some of your dungeons.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Maybe show off the ending cinematic of the game.
Oh yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like a sensible thing to do.
Starbound has, to give you guys an idea of where we're at with the story, Starbound has a final boss fight and final ending cinematics with credits and everything.
And an opening sequence with,
and an opening sequence,
and, stuff, yeah.
And all of the missions are complete.
Basically just kind of polishing it up at this point.
Yeah, it's polished now. We're just doing a lot of polished work. Steam integration for multiplayer, that kind of thing.
Achievements as well. I don't know if we've talked about
that. Yeah, achievements are going in. Tom's done a bunch of work on achievements recently. Great.
We have a lot of dungeons we can show. Dungeons are quite good. I could maybe stream one of those. Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too deep on this game on our stream, just because, you know, our audience isn't really a fighting game audience as such. But I want to let people know that throughout the weekend there are going to be some streams going on where people who are quite familiar with fighting games will be playing the game. Obviously, as Molly said, there's Indiecade, and it's just worth checking out. And it's just, even if you're, you know, not a fighting game enthusiast or fighting games are intimidating, it's a great game just to pick up and play with some friends because it's so simple, it's so easy to play. You master the super moves in seconds because they're all hold down back or hold down forwards and push light or hard punch. Let me go through, to give you an idea, go through Tenchi's move list real quick. So he has a light punch, he has a hard punch. If you crouch and do light, it's his, you know, little low forward, and that just combos into supers, and his hard is sweet. So you can see it's covering all of the bases of a fighting game with just 2 buttons. His jumping forwards and light kick is just a jump in, and his jumping forwards hard kick, this crosses up, so he has like a dedicated cross up button if you want to hit the other side of the enemy. And then for his super moves, if you down forward light punch, you get the fireball, and you can still tap light punch and get the kick, but if you hold light punch while holding down forwards, you get the fireball. Down forwards hard punch, or hard button, I guess it's not a punch button. Hard button does this. Down back, light does this, and down back, hard does that, and that's his 4 super moves. And then down forwards on both buttons does his super.
Oh, there's some cool trivia in the chat right now.
Oh, interesting. Huh. So, according to the chat, and I'm sure it's true, it's a history classroom, and the names in Japanese on the background are famous people in history. That still doesn't explain the bat.
No. Maybe it does, we just don't know.
Maybe Batman?
Maybe
I mean, you see a historical figure?
It could be a cultural thing we just don't understand. We can't even grasp. Maybe. Large bat.
But yeah, so that's how simple. I mean, I've pretty much just gone over everything for the character. He also has a throw, so if you walk forwards hard punch, close proximity, you get the throw. He has a dash, so back, forwards. But that's pretty much the whole character. Now, obviously, you know, that doesn't mean I've mastered the character. There are combos to learn. They're learning, you know, what hit to use in what situation is really important. You know, he has anti-airs and meaty attacks and overheads and so on and so forth. But on a basic level, that's all you need to know to really start playing the game. Whereas if you're learning, I don't know, Street Fighter or something, you need to learn every move in the moves list. You need to practice the motion for those moves because they're hard to perform. You need to learn the combos to be competitive. Whereas here you can just kind of easily string some attacks together to start off. It's worth checking out. It's worth following on early access because, as I say, there's a new character every month at the moment, which is really awesome. Mod support is going to be a huge part of this game. It's super moddable, and there might be workshop support down the line. And if there is, we're talking, you know, download new characters, download new backgrounds, maybe even make a total conversion out of the engine because the engine is so scriptable and so moddable. And with all of that, you have online play as a fixture. So if anyone's into sort of new gen, the big number one request there was always online play. With Pocket Rumble, once mod support is a big part of it, you would be able to play your mods online as well, which is amazing. So yeah, just all round worth checking out. And by the way, the engine has no limitations on, well, obviously some limitations, but you could have high-res art in the engine if the engine interests you from a sort of modding point of view. That's not a limitation. You don't have to have lo-fi sprites. But yeah. So, as I say, check it out this weekend. Maybe follow Cardboard Robot Games on Twitter. And if you're interested, pick up the game on Steam Early Access. So I'm going to close out this match by destroying Stephen.
Here we go. That's a promise you have to keep.
Yeah, you have to.
Oh, good. I'm losing. No, I'm not. Okay.
It's all about mind games.
Yeah, I'm gonna zone him out with fireballs and get him to jump into my attack.
I can hear you.
That one. I think he's got headphones. Maybe he can.
I'm hoping his headphones on.
He's not jumping now. I think he's not got headphones.
He knows.
The way block works in this game, if you block an attack, because there's no chip damage, obviously because it's 1 pip per piece of health, that's the same as the hit, that pip starts to flash, and if you block enough attacks, you lose that pip anyway.
Oh,
so that's really interesting.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, this makes it exciting. It's 2-2.
Okay.
It's a 3-round matches in
Oh, I
this game.
see. So it's all down on this now.
It's all down this like fun around. The music changes.
Oh.
And the classroom gets dark. It's more dramatic. And
Oh, that's really nice, actually.
I'm gonna stop talking and try and beat Steve.
For the person asking how much the game is, it's $9.99 in US dollars. It's $6.99 here in England. Because
Yeah.
it's not bad.
It's good, it's good. He's tense.
Oh, you see EX moves. Charged up for that EX move.
He gets a little tension on this.
No!
No!
I think it was close enough that I could chip him.
Oh, nice.
There we go. So that was Pocket Rumble. Check it out. And now I think we're gonna stream some Starbound.
Let's watch some Starbound. Let's do this.
Should I
Let's
tweet
try
that
that.
we are now streaming some Starbound?